What's going on, guys? Welcome back to 100, well, I would say 100% Chelsea, but clearly it's not. I'm in a slightly different surrounding behind enemy lines. It's the day after we beat Liverpool in the Carabao Cup, the Carling Cup, it was the Milk Cup at one point as well.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened, Louis, to be honest with you. I have these visions of milkmen all around the country get together with what happened pre-WhatsApp. And we're like, I reckon we can sponsor a Football League trophy here, lads. Who's in with me? Let's put the price of milk up a few pennies and get a sponsorship together, because milk sponsoring something, how did that happen?
It doesn't make sense. I just don't understand why they always have to change it. To me, it's always going to be the Carling Cup, because that's what I had when I was growing up. But it's like, I just don't get it. But anyway, we're going off topic. Obviously, we're here.
Yeah, it's the Coca-Cola Cup.
Okay, you know what? We'll agree to disagree and we'll move on. We're not going to have this conversation now. But
can't I just derail your show?
Yeah, well, that's what you've already started. All right, I'm in the zone. Okay, just let me stay in the zone. But anyway, obviously, me and Chris go back a long time. He's like Chris. But other than that, other than him trying to derail me, we're obviously here. Match preview, opposition analysis, talking a bit about Liverpool and how it's always your year. Obviously, this year being the closest after Kiev and Gareth Bale. But and Karras, obviously. What's happened to him? Where's he gone?
Besiktas, I think. I mean, out of my memory.
Out of your memory?
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't even his fault.
Let's focus on the game at hand, because I haven't got all day to talk about Loris Karius and my feelings post-Kiev. But I will tell you this, Louis. Everyone expected Liverpool fans to be down after Kiev, and that's not what I felt like at all.
I didn't think you would. It's a Champions League final. It's a massive step up. I think no one expected it, to be honest. And speaking of that, the process of Jurgen Klopp, how has that been? What have we seen which is completely different to what everyone's seen it develop? But is there anything which people aren't seeing, which are the little nuances which you've seen Jurgen Klopp change?
Wow, that's an incredible question. It's very difficult to answer, first and foremost, because we as football fans exist in this grey area, and I always feel like this is the case. So a little bit of how I view football. People ask you things about players and all this, and he doesn't train properly, he does train properly, and all this type of stuff. And you make hard, fast decisions on whether you like players or they're good enough based off no knowledge whatsoever than 90 minutes. So, I'll give you an example. At Liverpool, the goalkeeper coach is the big one that everyone thinks he's crap. Well, I don't know how any Liverpool fan would know whether the goalkeeping coach is crap, because no one sees the training. And if Jurgen Klopp likes him, that's enough for me. But the one thing that I would say is evolution has happened every single season. We saw in the first game when we drew 0-0 with Tottenham under Jurgen Klopp at White Hart Lane, this almost effervescence to go out and get the ball back and try and win the ball back. But we didn't know what we were doing then. Now we've learned, last season we learned the season before, and we're learning again how to go and control games of football, and we're tweaking the style consistently and constantly. What we saw last night against Chelsea was our back five last year.
Yeah.
And that got top four, believe it or not, you know what I mean? Or the year before it got. So Mignolet, not good enough. We went and broke up transfer record, which you've since broken, to go and get a better goalkeeper. We spent £75 million on Virgil van Dijk. We got Joe Gomez playing centre-half. We got Trent Alexander-Arnold in playing right-back nowadays, and Randy Robertson from Hull. That is a back five unit is incredible, and one of the best units I've seen at Liverpool for years and years and years. And this is a relatively new thing for us. They've only been playing that this season. Joe Gomez hadn't played a game at centre-half with the others until this season. So we're now seeing a defensive solidity that Liverpool have. But apart from that, the way that Sarri approached Liverpool at midweek, it was a throwback to how Liverpool were beaten many times over the last 18 months. And what I mean by that is when Nathaniel Klein was your right back and Alberto Moreno was your left back, teams would quite often sit and set a pressing trap. And I remember Conte's pressing traps were very good, and it looked very well organised last night, even with the reserves for Sarri. And what they were doing is, you obviously got the centre forward who's going to block off one side of the pitch. So then Joel Matip has to play it right to Nathaniel Klein. You got Willian taking up a position 20 yards away from Nathaniel Klein, and he maybe was it Emerson playing left back or something? I can't remember.
It was Emerson at left back, yeah.
And they were all taking up positions, and one of the centre midfielders, probably Kovacic actually, and they'd leave Nathaniel Klein a lot of space and a lot of time, and he'd get the ball and three men would bomb on at him. And that's a pressing trap, because you guys know that Nathaniel Clyne isn't Trent Alexander-Arnold. Nathaniel Clyne isn't going to be able to get himself out of a tight situation when he's being pressed.
Yeah.
And that happened a lot over the last 2 years with our fullbacks. The biggest change from Trent and Robertson coming in is that they're so comfortable on the ball that tactic won't work as well. And they're like Trent Alexander-Arnold, I said this to him when I sat down and interviewed him a few months ago, is I've never seen a right back hit the centre forward's feet with a pass so often, because that's what Trent will do. Or he'll whip one down the line to Mo Salah. So it's going to be a completely different game, because we've just got better players. Equally, flip side for you know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's this thing. You can't really judge the Carabao Cup, because as much as it's great to win a game of football against Liverpool, that's all it was to me. I don't really care about the trophy, even if it may be probably our best opportunity to win one, because you and City are far better than we are. But obviously, like I was saying with Klopp, you said it's an evolution. It's been time, and it's taken time to get to the stage where you're at. Do you think Sarri will get a similar amount of time at Chelsea, or do you think he needs that to develop?
Well, judging by the results so far this season, he's not going to need as long. I think what people forget is that Jurgen Klopp's been backed massively this summer.
Yeah.
And to be fair, throughout his Liverpool career, but he's never had the funds to massively change things. And there's question marks about whether Abramovich will back Chelsea in the same way. I don't think he's spending anywhere near as much money as what he used to.
Yeah.
So it might take 1 window, 2 window, 3 windows for Sarri to really build a side that he's proud of. Will he get the time? I'm a Liverpool fan, but I'm pretty certain that he won't.
Yeah.
And at some point, I believe that Chelsea will run out of good managers to ask to manage them, because you'll have asked them all and sacked them all.
Yeah.
And it's a thing that would worry me. Yet people still go there because money's still a big selling point.
Money talks.
Exactly.
It's
so will he get the time if he makes a success in the next 2 seasons? Yes. If he doesn't make a success in the next 2 seasons, you'd have to answer that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. It's going to be interesting to see, though. But like you said, we've talked about backing the transfer market. We're talking about how managers develop football. Now we talk about the team. You've already mentioned Trent Alexander-Arnold, the key players that we're going to be seeing at the weekend. Who is the player that we should really watch out for? Who's been performing this season? Because Mo Salah, obviously, you're not going to follow up a 35-goal season in the same manner. I don't think anyone expected him to. But alongside him, what are the key players that people need to look out for from this season?
Mane's been really good for us. In fact, I watch a lot of American football, so some of my terminology might not be right for football anymore, but Salah seems to get a lot of double coverage. 2 guys worrying about him, and that frees up space at the other side of the field. Roberto Firmino's the guy who makes it all tick, though. He's the guy who, if he's not on song, that can hurt us.
Yeah.
Now he looked fit and sharp at the weekend and fast as well. And this is the problem, isn't it? We're coming out of a World Cup summer and our players aren't quite there yet. The attacks aren't firing because no one's quite fit enough. Liverpool's strength this season has been defence. And we've been able to go and grind results out from different types of positions and set pieces, Louis. We've scored the most set pieces in the league. We've scored five goals from set pieces in 6 games.
That's not a good sign for us, because we've got a rubbish defence at the minute.
We scored 11 goals from set pieces all last season. We've scored 5 in 6 games this season already. 4 from corners, direct from corners, this Liverpool side at the moment. And we just look like we're looking for marginal gains all across the board at the moment. It's like, well, where can we pick up a few extra goals? Set pieces is one. You might have seen the Tottenham one where Vorm fumbles it because Van Dijk stood in front of him.
Yeah.
We've started to crowd the keeper on in-swinging corners only, and we look really dangerous from it. The keepers can't get out, and especially new keepers to the league, it's a different style of goalkeeping, isn't it? So that we've been dangerous from. Even the last time out in the Premier League, Shaqiri has a free kick that hits the bar, and we follow that up with a Mo Salah goal. So the forward play hasn't been quite as good. But if we're given space, I think we will be just as good. It's just that we're now able to win games in different ways. Yeah.
I mean, set pieces for us are not a strength right now. I think that's still developing part of our game. But I mean, Virgil van Dijk, like you said, already a revelation. What's the team going to be at the weekend?
Alisson in goal, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Joe Gomez, Virgil van Dijk, Andy Robertson, Hendo in the 6, Milner on the right-hand side of the midfield, Wijnaldum on the left-hand side in the 2-8 roles,
Yeah.
Salah right wing, Firmino in the 9, and Mane left.
Naby Keita not getting into that side then?
Don't think so. I don't think he'll play in this game. He's been good, but he doesn't, and this is what Klopp's been able to afford himself, is we don't have to throw these guys in at the deep end because we've got players who are used to the system, and Klopp's fine for sitting a player for a few months. Fabinho's first start against Hughes midweek, signed him for like 50 million quid, and it's the 8th game of the season when he gets his first start, because Klopp puts a lot of emphasis on, if you're going to get into this side, you need to know your role. Now, Sarri hasn't had that time to be able to do that, but I'm damn sure in a system as complicated as his best case scenario would be in exactly the same way. And Henderson, Milner and Wijnaldum got us to a Champions League final and got us in the top 4 last season, so they're no mugs either. They're enablers, these three. And what I mean by that is they enable the fullbacks to bomb on because their coverage is so good. Yeah. They enable the front three to play in the manner in which they play with the fluidity because they are there. They're the engine of the car, and without the engine, the car doesn't move. You know what I mean? These three are so key to everything else without being absolute standout performers in any way, shape or form. They might not get the goals and the assists, but everything comes from that dynamic, industrious midfield three that we've got.
It is a superb midfield three. James Milner was a player that I've always loved. When he was available on a free from City, I was crying out for us to sign him. Because him alongside Kante right now as well, I think it would just be an amazing midfield.
I wasn't even asked that much, you know. I liked him as a winger, and I used to remember him rinsing us with Zabaleta on that right-hand side for City and stuff. And when we were said, he's going to be a centre mid for us, I was like, really? Are we sure? And he puts in world-class performances every week, and he's one of my favourite players at the club. Like.
He's unreal. Wherever you tell him to go, he'll go and do a fantastic job. But we've spoken about your main threats. We've spoken about the positions. We've spoken about the team. We've spoken about how your season's gone. Now it's time for the big thing. Is it your year?
I go into every year hoping that Liverpool can do something special. And generally speaking, it's blind faith. And there's nothing to back it up, but it's just hope, and that's all it is. I've never once sat here and said, it's our year. And that's a proper myth about Liverpool fans, like. But this year, right, there's something different. And it's not that I believe Liverpool are going to win the league. It's that I have belief that Liverpool can win the league. Yeah. And that's completely different to thinking we're going to win the league, by the way, because I truly think Manchester City are the best team in this league and 100%. Have the best squad. And their system, I feel, is better set up to win a Premier League than Liverpool's right now because they can dominate teams into submission. We're not a possession side like Manchester City in any way, shape or form. Yeah. We match up much better in European two-legged ties where you're going to have a home leg or we're going to have an away leg where one team pushes on. And if that team pushes on, bang, our speed on the transition can hurt you. And now we've got the defence to back it up as well. So I still feel like, no, it's not our year. But if Manchester City drop 10 points from where they were last year, we've got a really bloody good chance.
Yeah. Does Klopp have to win a trophy this year, though?
No, because I think, for me, football's not... Being an end-all football isn't about trophies. Yeah. You know, I think there'll be a lot of Liverpool fans that would disagree with me on that. I think that's fair to say. But as long as Klopp shows progression, 25 points difference between us and Manchester City last season. Yeah. Are you expecting to overturn that in one transfer window?
Yeah, of course not.
It's a difficult thing to do, isn't it? We're already out of one trophy. But, to be fair, if you're not going to win the Carabao Cup, you're best going out in the first fucking round. Or the third round, as it was. Because what's the point in expending any more energy in the competition? You know what I mean? And for me, I don't know whether our squad's quite as good as City's. And those semi-finals, if you're to get that far in the Carabao in mid-January when the FA Cup starts up again and you're hopefully looking forward to extra Champions League fixtures in February, that can hurt a team. Yeah. You know, that run of games. Now, there are teams in the past, Chelsea, a classic example of this, who use that League Cup to go on and kick on to better things. That's never really worked for Liverpool. Like, even the last time we won the League Cup, we fucking bombed in the league after it. Like, we just hung up our boots and went, well, we got our trophy this year. Whereas Chelsea, different mindset. Go for that competition, take it seriously every single year and use it as a lift for their season. It's not something we've ever really done. I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you did play Cardiff the last time. And they were They were near the bottom of the Championship at that point. So, I mean, Yeah, I get that. I get it's a mentality thing. But Jurgen Klopp must have instilled something completely different because this is for me the first time I looked at Liverpool when I was like, wow, you can see he's starting to build something. When everyone else was taking the piss, it was that West Brom game when he went. He went. It was, I think was it the Cop he went to
2-2, yeah.
the 2-2, and he just got everyone going. It's like, yeah, this guy's trying to inspire something here, and he's moving it forward. And we've seen massive progression at Liverpool. So I mean, fair play to you.
Yeah, there's a unification between. Well, Shankly used to talk about the Holy Trinity of the players, the managers, and the fans, and that Holy Trinity seems to be coming back, and it's being borne out in the atmospheric games. It's being borne out on the football field. The team look like they want to play for the manager and they want to play for the fans, and they're enjoying it. And the fans are really enjoying watching the football because it's not turgid, which is great.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Well, we'll leave it at there. One last thing though, prediction.
3-1 Liverpool.
3-1.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well,
I think Giroud will score for yous.
yeah, Giroud. I hope it'll either be Giroud or Hazard.
Yeah, and there was a few little things that I saw at midweek, and I know you can't judge it on the players and stuff, but there was a few little things with the defence and that space that was offered out wide for Shaqiri and Mane, where I think Salah and maybe Bobby Firmino can exploit that a little bit. And I saw that against Arsenal as well. It's going to be it could be a close game. Of course, it could be. Two sides that are very, very good, full of world-class players. Exactly. On any given Saturday evening.
Yeah. Well, you heard it all here. Thank you for coming on, Chris.
No
Appreciate
problem,
that.
mate.
Say best of luck at the weekend, but I don't particularly want to say that. But other than that, guys, make sure you subscribe to Theredmen TV. Obviously, best Liverpool channel out there. Great guys as well. They just hit 300k, so well done to that. Mad. So it is mad. It's insane. I know. Do you think you could fill Anfield quite a few times, couldn't you? Think
yeah,
that way.
We're probably about as big as the Anfield season ticket waiting list now, which is mad.
Bloody hell.
It's like 18 years to get a season ticket on the waiting list at Anfield.
Jesus Christ. Well, you heard it there. But guys, thank you for coming on, Chris. Make sure you subscribe to 100% Chelsea. All social links down in the description. Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, and Instagram. Make sure you check out my personal socials as well. They'll be down there as well. And if you want to see what I think and what our score prediction is going to be, head across to Theredmen TV. But other than that, guys, take care. Wherever you are, whatever time of day it is. See you later.